Hey, it's Lowery Smith of the Commander Smiths here with a searching for the spotlight Treebeard Gracious Host. This deck is based around life gain encounters, as most of what Treebeard is doing. Two colorless green and a white, 05 Tree Folk, Trample, Ward 2. When Treebeard Gracious Host enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens, which can get you 3 life when they're sacrificed. And whenever you gain life, put that many 1/1 counters on target, Halfling or Tree Folk. So technically, it does not have to be on Treebeard, but this deck kind of focuses on the Voltron aspect and just making them real big and all that kind of stuff. He's been pretty fun to be playing in the last couple years. Going through the deck haphazardly, the Great Henge, mana, life gain, counters. It does everything that I want to be happening in a Treebeard deck. Heroic Intervention, protecting all the things. Trail of Crumbs, whenever it comes into play, create a food. And then whenever you sack a food, look at the top 3. You can pay 1, do that, and put a permanent card from among them into your hand and the rest on the bottom. So cool in any food decks. Llanowar Elves for that mana. Inspiring Statuary. I figured if I'm going to have some food tokens laying around, might as well turn them into mana. So non-artifact spells you cast have improvise, which is pretty nice. The Ozolith, there's a lot of counters going around, so might as well, if there is some sort of board wipe that I can't protect my stuff with, keep the counters around, and then I can recast Treebeard, make them big again. Bonner's Enclave, Treebeard often gets over 4 power, so draw a card if you need it. Um, gonna be honest, Adam, you can't be covering these names. I can't remember them, but there's a proxy. We do play with proxies. If you want to become a patron, join the Discord. We give out proxies, whatnot. I think it's Enduring Vitality, though. Creatures you control can tap for mana, and a lot of Soul Sisters are good in that regard. Ancient Tomb, really good land, getting you 2 mana. Forest, War Room to draw you more cards. Windswept Heath for them fetches. Cryptolith Right, being able to tap your other creatures for mana, again, is pretty good. Elven Farsight, Scry 3, reveal a top card. If it's a creature, draw the card. It's pretty sweet. I'm gonna go back to Cryptolith Right right now. So right now, if you have cards, the reason why I have this in here is like I have Soul Sisters in this deck. If you have cards that you just have sitting around for a certain effect, like Aethersworn Canonist, or we'll get to a couple more of them, but you don't want to be attacking or blocking with them. I like finding something else to do with them. And something like Cryptolith Right is a really good way to just do something with them. So that's why it's in the deck. Prize Pig, whenever you gain life, put that many ribbon counters on Prize Pig. Then, if there are 3 or more ribbons on it, remove those counters and untap Prize Pig. It's an O3, and then it can tap for any mana. So it's something that can, it basically can reduce food costs by 1, or just it's kind of extra mana in a life gain deck. It's pretty sweet. Witch's Clinic, giving Treebeard lifelink is doubling its power every turn. Crazy. Damning Verdict, when you got a lot of counters flying around in white, you want to make sure, it's a wrath that protects you guys pretty much. Lathiel, the Bounteous Dawn. 2/2 lifelink at the beginning of each end step. If you gain life this turn, distribute up to that many 1/1 counters among any number of other target creatures. So again, kind of turning those smaller creatures into threats. Selesnya Sanctuary, the bounce land, green white, Basilisk Caller, giving Treebeard that life link is really good. Or deal also a trample and death touch. If they triple block, you just go 1 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage, and the rest goes through. You kill all their guys. It makes blocking pretty pitiful for them. So, Ordeal of Nylea. It's an aura, and whenever that creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. And then if there are 3 or more counters on it, sacrifice the aura, and you get to go and put 2 basics from your library into play tapped. I really like this in anywhere that you are putting counters on your creatures. Terra Symbiosis. Brand new, spanking, got this at the pre-release. Whenever you put one or more 1/1 counters on target on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Do this only once each turn. So essentially, Treebeard, sack of food, put 3 on, draw 3 cards. It's a crazy good card. Inspiring Call, draw a card for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it, and those creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. It's fantastic. Authority of the Councils, creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life. It's a little bit of tap down, a lot of life gain, and it's does a lot of work in this style of deck. Just any deck, really. Like this was a $10 card before the reprint. Um, and it's going to recover because just slowing down your opponents is so good. Basilica Guards, it's basically there for the extort cost, gain, pay 1, gain 3 life. Treebeard gets huge. Shield of the Oversoul, slap that on Treebeard, +2/+2, flying and indestructible for 3 mana is quite good. Ajani's Steadfast Strength, it is in here for that 0. If you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, exile Ajani and each artifact and creature your opponents control. So exile this and all the artifacts and creatures that your opponents control, and it's basically a I win the game card. It resets everybody else. Pristine Talisman, taps for a colorless, gains you a life. Samwise Gamgee, whenever another non-token creature enters, you get a food token and sacrifice 3 foods. Return target historic card from the graveyard to your hand. So it's a little bit of recursion, but a lot of food. And that's great for Sam. He's always hungry. We have Academy Manufactor. So whenever you're creating a food, you're also getting a clue and a treasure. Great in this style of deck. You have Nuka-Cola vending machine. You can create food. Whenever you sack food, create treasure tokens. And it's just kind of a cycling machine. It's pretty great in that regard. The Shire is a land that can tap and create a food token. Hunter's Insight, instant. Choose target creature, generally Treebeard, and whenever it deals a bunch of damage, you get to draw a bunch of cards. Nature's Lord to go get a forest into play. Archangel of Thune. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Soul Sister decks kind of need this kind of card. Forest. Swiftfoot Boots for that hasty protection. Mithril Coat to give Treebeard indestructible. Heliod's Intervention. This is here just to blow up artifacts and enchantments, but if you want to at instant speed, you can just gain twice X life and make Treebeard pretty big. Command Tower. Overgrown Farmland, Forest, Gavany Township to put 1/1 counters on everything. Tireless Provisioner. You're getting food tokens or treasure tokens on a landfall trigger, and it's a really good card, right? 3 mana might feel a little too much, but as long as you're getting your land drops, it's always value. Syndicate of Ties for that extort cost. Dawn of Hope. Whenever you gain life, you can pay 2 to draw a card. Also has the ability to put 1/1 creatures into play. It's alright. It's a draw card and gain life. Sylvan Library for that fantastic draw in green. You have a Gingerbread Cabin. If you have 3 other forests, you get to create a food token when this comes into play. Shalai, the Voice of Plenty. It protects all your creatures. Gives them hexproof, gives you hexproof, and then you can also put 1/1 counters on everything if you have enough mana and something to do with it. Druid class, it's basically landfall, gain a life, and then pay 3. You can play more than 1 land each turn. That's what I'm doing with it. Rock's Faith Mender is doubling any life gain that you have going on. Plains, Auriok Champion. It's whenever any other creature comes into play, you're gaining a life, so it's just kind of constantly happening. Plains, the Gaffer. Whenever you gain 3 or more life in a turn, you get to draw a card. Draw cards are great. That you need enough draw to keep on playing your game. Archivist of Ogma. Whenever an opponent searches their library, gain a life and draw a card. Does everything that you want in this deck. Scattered Groves, Prismatic Vista, Esper Sentinel for that draw. Explore to draw and put another land into play. Is kind of just there as a slight cantrip, but also putting more land into play. Also on theme. Shamanic Revelation is draw a card for each creature you control and then gain 4 life for each creature you have with 4 or greater. So it has the potential for a huge Treebeard bonus. All right, Shattering Word. Instant target creature you control gains hex boost, so protection for Treebeard, even beyond that ward. And then you gain life equal to that creature's toughness, and so that'll be a huge boost to Treebeard as well. Soul Warden for gaining life whenever any other creature enters the battlefield. Canopy Vista, Well of Lost Dreams, gain life, pay mana, draw cards. Forest, Temple of Plenty, Temple Garden, Sensei's Top for that card selection. I love the card. Sam Loyal Attendant is reducing your activated cost of food, and that's kind of what it's there for. It does some food stuff as well, but that's kind of what it's there for. Gilded Goose, sacrificing food to gain mana, and also has the ability to create food, does everything. Prosperous Innkeeper, gain a life whenever you have a creature come into play, also gets you a treasure. Um, Pretty good. Jahira, Friend of the Forest. Tokens you control have tap for a green, so all those food tokens laying around, if you're not gaining life, are getting you mana. Boseju, who endures, great removal on a land. Everybody knows that. Savannah, Bountiful Promenade, Blind Obedience there for the extort and also tapping their stuff down, which is, again, it just almost feels it just speeds you up, but really it's slowing them down. So it's great for that extort. Fabled Passage, Birds of Paradise for that great mana, Soul Ring for the ramp, Soul's Attendant. Whenever another creature comes into play, you gain a life. I mean, these are the ones that you want whenever it's affecting your opponents. They're going to play probably more creatures than you can. And so there is different choices among these style of cards. And I always just kind of go with these because you're just going to get more triggers. Astrid Peth creates foods on entering or attacking. And then whenever you sack a clue or a food, this explores. It's cheap, only 2 mana, does a lot. Seven Petal Grove, Camaraderie, gain X life, draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures you control, and creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So gaining life, drawing cards, great. Forest, Plains, Trey Lasara, Moon Dancer. Whenever you gain a life, you put a 1/1 counter on it, and Scry. It's a little bit of card advantage, but in the end, it can be a 10/10, 15/15, a lot of things. Nykthos, Paragon. Whenever you gain life, you may put that many 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Do this only once each turn. So kind of you want to at least do a food. So putting 3 counters on all your stuff. You don't want a Soul Sister trigger where you're only doing 1. But if you can do a life link with Treebeard and put 8 counters on everything, that could be pretty good. Plains, Forest, Hopeful Initiate. You can pay 3 and remove 2 1/1 counters from among creatures you control, destroy target artifact or enchantment. You generally you have enough counters to take stuff off, and you're just having repeatable removal. If I was going to upgrade this, it'd be turn into an Aura Shards and just control the board. Blooming Bog Beast, whenever it attacks, gain 2 life, and then creatures you control gain trample and XX till end of turn, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. It's going to be more than 2, and that's basically an overrun, repeatable overrun. Plains, Plaza of Heroes on theme, great. Apothecary White has vigilance. Whenever you attack, create a food token for each player being attacked. So hopefully you're attacking all 3. And then you can pay a white, tap X food tokens, create X1 white, 1/1 white human creature tokens. And that's just, it can really fill an army. 4 mana is not terrible for that effect. Wooded Bastion, you have Exemplar of Light. So whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, and then once per turn, whenever you put a counter on, you get to draw a card. And then 3 visits to go get another forest. Hey, that is the deck. Hopefully you enjoyed it. What cards would you be putting in your Treebeard deck? I've seen some lists where they're going with more tree folk so they can kind of spread it out a little bit, but it's pretty cool. Had a lot of fun with it throughout the years. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and have a good night. Bye.